Hello guys, welcome to our channel. Today we are going to talk about one of the most sought after topic among immigrants, and the topic is
Canada versus Australia. Yes guys, we finally decided to do this comparison video between these two countries because we really thought we could do justice in this topic because we have lived in both of these countries.
Yes.
We have lived in Canada for almost 5 years and we are living in Australia now for just over 3 years. So we really thought we should give it a go and then lay out in front of you the differences and similarities between these two countries so that you can choose for yourself. Before diving into the differences, let's talk about similarities. Would you like to shed some light on similarities?
yes, sure. Both of these countries are highly developed with high quality of life and really high standard of living. People are really nice. Both of these countries are very beautiful. If you talk about education, schools are really good and universities are also really of high quality. And the other important thing to consider as an immigrant is both of the countries are English spoken, so that means if you have good English you can survive easily in both of these countries. And also both of these countries have really good job opportunities, and it's easy to start your life as an immigrant in both of them if you compare to other countries like Europe. So I think these are some of the similarities. So now let's talk about the differences.
So when we talk about differences between these two countries, the first thing as immigrant that we consider is money. Where will we make more money? Where will we spend more money? So when we talk about money, two things come to our mind: the minimum wage you make and the cost of living. When we talk about minimum wage, let's talk about Canada first. The minimum wage in Canada ranges from $11 per hour up to $15 per hour depending on which province you live. And when we talk about Australia, minimum wage is around $20 an hour. If we talk about professional job, in comparison, the average money you make in Australia is higher than the money you make in Canada. If you are doing some professional jobs or jobs in multinational companies in Canada, you also will make somewhat equal to Australia, but when we make comparison, in average, Australia gives you more money. Also, Australia has penalty rates, that is, if you work on the weekends or if you work the nights, you will get more money. But in Canada, in my experience, there was no such penalty rates when I was working there. I used to work a lot of night shift, I used to do a lot of weekends, but I never got any extra money unless I was working on Christmas or Easter and some other holidays. So in general, you will make more money in Australia than you will make in Canada. Now let's talk about cost of living. When we talk about cost of living, we have to take into consideration factors like rent, grocery, and utilities. When we talk about rent, I would like to share my personal experience. I used to live 1 hour away from Toronto in a city called Guelph. So that time we used to pay $1,000 per month in rent and our utilities were included. So we did not have to pay any extra bill. But that was because we were living in university housing. So when we moved to Australia, we moved to a regional city and our house was $1,300 a month and utilities were extra. So when we compare, Australia, rent in Australia is higher. But again, it really depends on which city you are and which state you are. But if we compare in general, Australia's rent is higher than Canada. Now let's talk about grocery. I personally have not found a lot of difference in grocery bill, but when I talk to my friends and families who have like large family members, they say in Canada grocery is slightly cheaper than in Australia. Now let's talk about car insurance and phone plan, which I really like to include because in Canada the car insurance is terribly high. When we were there, we used to pay almost $200 a month on our car insurance, whereas in Australia we pay around $600 a year. So you can make a comparison there. Car insurance is really high. And also the phone plan is really high in Canada. You don't have a lot of choices. You get really less data in your phone with a lot of money, whereas in Australia you have a lot of choices to make and you get really a lot of data in your phone with less money. So guys, there are things like car insurance and phone plans which are expensive in Canada, but then rent and grocery are slightly cheaper. But then in general, because you make more money in Australia, you spend more money here, and then you make little less money in Canada and your expenditure is less. So it balances out. But if I have to give a point, I think Australia wins because you can make more money by working nights and weekends and all that. So Australia wins this point.
So now let's talk about weather. Whenever people talk about weather in Canada, they always say that Canada is always cold. Everywhere you go in Canada, it's filled with snow. But it's not like that. Canadian summer are very, very beautiful. In fact, way, way beautiful than Australian summer, at least in my experience. So Canadian summer can go up to 30 plus 30 degree or 35 degree. It obviously depends on where you live. And the places like Vancouver or some places in British Columbia, it rarely snows. So that means it's not like Canada is always cold, but winter on an average is way, way worse in Canada, and summer is very good. And if you talk about Australian weather, it's mostly mild compared to Canada. But if you go to the inside of the Australia, like Australian deserts or Northern Territories, it can reach up to plus 45 and plus 50. So on an average, I think Australia wins in this topic because you can go out in winter as well, but it comes with compromise as well. Because Australia is too hot in the summer, you can see animals like spiders and snakes, and that is, I think, one of the disadvantages. If you are scared of spider, you might not enjoy Australia. So it all comes with pros and cons, but in my experience, I think I would give more point to Australia in this topic because you can enjoy more outside in Australia than in Canada.
Okay guys, another topic is proximity to the other world. When we talk about Canada, Canada is neighbor of US. So if you are living in Canada, you can easily get visa to travel to US. When we were living in Guelph, New York was only 8 hours drive from our place. So we went to New York to visit. But if you are living in Australia, Australia is an island. You cannot go anywhere unless you fly or you go by ship. New Zealand is the nearest country, which takes 3.5 to 4 hours to fly. And also talking about proximity to another continent, Canada is nearer to Europe and Australia is nearer to Asia. I am South Asian, I'm from Nepal. So talking about myself, my country is nearer from Australia than it was from Canada. So I can save a lot of hours when I'm flying to my home country from Australia. Talking about job opportunities also, Canadians can easily go to USA and work. It is comparatively easier. And if you are Australian, you can go to New Zealand to work. So guys, it really depends on where you want to go on holidays, what are your preferences. If you really want to live close to your home country so that you can save a few hours on flying. So all those things are also taken into consideration before you move into a new country, that is either Australia or Canada.
Now let's talk about how easy it is to get PR in either Australia or Canada. Obviously it depends on your case and your situation, but it feels like, at least from my discussion with friends, it feels like Canadian PR is slightly easier than Australian PR. Although my case was exactly opposite. For me, it was easier to get Australian PR because I was applying as an agricultural scientist. But on an average, I think Australian PR is very, very difficult, and it's even more difficult if you are in the field of IT or accounting. So I think it depends on your case, but on an average, Canada gets an edge in this topic.
In conclusion, it is really difficult to tell which country is better. In some cases, Australia has higher marks, in some cases, Canada has. So it really depends on you, what you want and why you are moving to that country. If you are looking for more money, maybe Australia is the country for you. If you are really looking for a cold country, maybe Canada is for you. Canada also has a lot of other social benefits, so maybe Canada is the country for you. It really depends on what you want. But overall, both the countries are really amazing. Quality of life is really amazing, but it is you who has to make the choice. What do you think?
Yeah, my view is slightly different in this case. If I had enough money, I would live my summer in Canada and I would live my winter in Australia, but obviously I can't do that because I don't have that much money now.
Okay guys, thank you for watching this video with us. This is all for today's video. If you have any comments, please feel free to put them in the comment section. We reply to each and every of your comment, and if you think we have missed out on any of the points, and if you would like us to clarify in any other points, and if you would like to inquire more on the topic, please comment below in the comment section. And also don't forget to like, share and subscribe our channel. Thank you guys. We will see you in next video.
Until then, bye.
Watch We Inspire and keep inspiring.